Not many people who are siblings to huge celebrities like the future Queen of England can carve out a reputation for themselves like Pippa Middleton has done. While Kate, her sister and Duchess of Cambridge, remains the main attraction to the Middleton name, Pippa just can't seem to get out of the spotlight herself, especially after her figure-hugging wardrobe choice during Kate's wedding. While she played a pivotal role in her sister's marriage, hers has now started to crumble. How did that happen? What has Pippa been going through? Join us as we discuss the reason behind Pippa's divorce. Pippa Middleton, more than Kate's sister. Pippa Middleton has always had her own personality, her own mind, and a rumored sense of humor which separates her from her more popular sister Kate. The Middleton family was neither a noble family nor affiliated with royalty, hence Pippa and Kate were raised with a steely resolve and a consciousness of how different their world was from everyone else's. However, destiny spins its wheel again, and this time Kate Middleton got lucky, pulling out a winner as the heir apparent Prince William's wife. As expected, the sisters had their laughs and girls' giggles, plotting and scheming on just how fashionable they expected the wedding to be. While Kate's name set off some bells in the royal world, giving her the spotlight that she didn't have as a Middleton, Pippa endured in the background doing her own things, which was mostly studying and making the most of the education that she had. However, it wasn't long until the spotlight came calling for Pippa too, especially after the glamorous wedding in 2011. Pippa Middleton stood right in the middle of the proceedings wearing an unforgettable white dress that hugged her perfectly shaped figure, causing a massive stir during and after the wedding. While Kate and Prince William were of course the main attraction, Pippa the maid of honor was just too stunning to ignore. Just a couple of days after the wedding, she suddenly gained a lot more fame than she ever thought possible, with blogs and major newspapers publishing various think pieces about her, particularly her wardrobe choices and her striking beauty. It was the very first time that she was being recognized publicly, and she believed it was her chance to be in the public eye and make an identity for herself while losing the "she's the Duchess's sister" tag. The buzz was here, and there was absolutely nothing that she could do about it as it wasn't going away. She had suddenly become that girl, but that came with a kind of risk and exposure that she wasn't prepared for. Suddenly, she had paparazzi lurking around to get some unaware pictures of her, and her personal life was starting to lose its personal tag. For the first time, she felt what Kate was dealing with immediately after she began a relationship with Prince William. Although she could see how demanding the publicized lifestyle of a celebrity could be, she was more than willing to take it on. What's the worst that could happen, she thought. However, she was in for a rude awakening. The fame set the stage for a deeper examination of her personal life, especially the details of her marriage to James Matthews, a hedge fund manager, former racing driver, and heir apparent to the lairdship. Glenn Affrick. Just how did the world take this matchup, the matchup that caused a frenzy? Pippa had suddenly become a household name in Britain and globally for those who follow the same royal family with such enthusiasm, while the media remains glued to her life with question marks hanging above her personal life like a dark cloud. Unmarried and pushing 40, it was a nightmare on a loop with no hope of ever getting out. Her newfound fame became a shackle as she couldn't maintain a relationship without the media prying as intricately as possible. First, the press caught wind of her relationship with Alex Selden, an English cricket player. However, that relationship only lasted for a while as distance got in the way. Rumor has it that they had tried ways to make it work, but Alex's job took him all over the world and he was just not available enough to meet her emotional needs. Right after their breakup in 2011, she met James Matthews, an Eton-educated hedge fund manager whom she met on the Caribbean island of St. Bart's. It was love at first sight for both parties, but they chose to tread carefully as Pippa was still having her on and off dates with Alex Selden before she moved on to Nico Jackson, a seasoned stockbroker. Their meeting took them as far as the Eden Rock Hotel, a luxury hotel owned by James' parents, David and Jane Matthews. Both under the spell of their first meeting, they chose to keep in touch and remain friends until 2011 when she decided to end things with Alex Selden. It was the perfect opportunity to have a man in her life who could be there almost whenever she needed him to be. In October 2012, Pippa was pictured on what appeared to be a dinner date with James Matthews, just under a year since she broke up with Alex. questions arrived in massive numbers about whether her heart was capable of love immediately, seeing as she had broken up just a year before. Was she moving too fast, or had she finally found the right person? Sources close to Pippa revealed that she was quite smitten. Upon seeing James, one look and she melted like ice cream in the sun, and there was no saving her. However, as much as the rumors of their relationship persisted, it was soon put to an end at the start of 2013 when she was seen holding hands with Nico Jackson, confirming their relationship to be serious and set for marriage. But 2 years later, Pippa just couldn't deal with the distance anymore, with Nico living in Geneva and Pippa in Chelsea. They broke up, and James was again back in the picture. But this time, he had come to stay, and Pippa knew it too. They made their relationship completely public in 2016 and tied the knot in 2017. This whirlwind romance had everyone's attention, especially enthusiasts of the royal family, who had their theories about her choice for a husband. How exactly did this marriage work out for her? 2 worlds, 1 house, a lifestyle divide. James Matthews was always that guy, a real-life celebrity who made a bulk of his fame and money as a race car driver. However, the boy died, and a new man was born when he switched careers, becoming a financier out of the blue. Although rumors have it that he wasn't a bore who didn't know how to have fun, he was also not the most outgoing person in the world. Their union placed them on completely opposite sides of the social spectrum, as the couple had individual preferences for maintaining their social life with minimal attention, but it was a difficult journey with a crooked topography. James' wealth comfortably places him at the table of the elites in the United Kingdom and also earns him some global acclaim. However, he is one of the gentle giants with less care for the fanciest things in the world. He made very rare appearances on the red carpet and is almost never on the news, hosting public interviews or any kind of media frenzy that will stir the pot. On the other hand, Pippa was a social monster who loved the camera to bits, although she did not start out that way, as she was just a regular girl who descended from a long line of lawyers born in Reading, Berkshire. However, everything changed in 2011 after her appearance at her big sister Kate Middleton's wedding. At the wedding, Pippa Middleton's dress, created by Sarah Burton of Alexander McQueen, who also designed the bride's dress, was highly praised in the media. Made of ivory crepe fabric, it was styled with a cowl at the front and organza-covered buttons at the back. Copies of the dress were soon available on the high street, where there was a great demand for them. Because she wore it, at that point, she could tell that her name was working wonders on the economics of the fashion market. So, she built on that and came up with merchandise of her design, like Celebrate, her book that defines how to host parties, and added a bit of recipes on making some serious palate delight. Although she started to abhor the fame as the media took it too far, in April 2011, when pictures of her were posted in bikinis while she was on board a yacht in Ibiza with her big sister Kate beside her, the Middleton family unsurprisingly chose the legal route and sued the Daily Mail, News of the World, and Daily Mirror for publishing private pictures. By September of the same year, the newspapers agreed to remove the pictures from their papers. However, she had become a socialite and is related to the British royal family, so the fame isn't going anywhere. On the flip side, her husband retains his persona, spending time away from the public eye. While it may seem like a normal part of their relationship to both parties, the online in-laws have created theories and conjectures based on Pippa's solo appearances at events and a rare public sighting of the couple. Could this contrasting lifestyle set a precedent for something more sinister, and why did she buy into public life completely? The pressure of perfection is one thing to play catch-up with your older and more successful sister, but it is a whole different level when you have to play catch-up with your older sister who married the heir apparent to the British throne. Such is Pippa's dilemma, and it has not been fun. Raised in a family that prides itself on its long line of lawyers and woolen manufacturing firms, she was raised to hit perfection at all odds, regardless of who the competition might be. She was born the classic middle child in that moment. Ella's eyes that were constantly looking at me were the second born of 3 kids, having 2 siblings watching her from above and below, and the pressure mounting incredibly. Although she handled it well in the beginning, bagging a degree in English literature from the University of Edinburgh and working at a public relations firm in 2008, where she was promoting luxury products. She then became an organizer at Table Talk, a company based in London that organizes corporate events and parties. Pippa was already doing so well for herself that she was named the #1 Society singleton in 2008, ahead of popular figures like James Blunt and Princess Eugenie of York. Since then, she has been tagged a socialite. However, the real fame came in 2012, a year after her sister got married. Pippa was named as one of the 100 most influential people in the world. While the acclaim was beautiful to receive, sources close to her revealed that she was certain that she had only hit this level because of her big sister. Although it was a huge step towards the shores of perfection, it still felt like it was handed to her rather than earned. Being a Middleton only meant that she had been trained to see the latter as a form of success, as being handed one's meal doesn't align with the family code. She needed to be perfect, as she not only had the weight of the pressure of the Middleton family on her, but also the public who had seen her sister get married to the heir apparent of the British throne. There is no outdoing that, now is there? What it is what it is exactly, and how we can support not only ourselves but each other as well. But Pippa, being the classic overachiever, was definitely going to try. Sources close to her have indicated that she has been trying too hard, finding different ways to bring her media-elusive husband to the limelight, but she has been failing at it. Is there a chance that this consistent push to get her husband into the limelight, similar to Prince William's with Kate, might open cracks in their marriage, or will it work wonders? The cracks beneath the glamour, although it has been a recurring theme to almost never see Pippa Middleton and her husband together outside their home, the few times when paparazzi catch a glimpse of their appearance, it has always been sunshine, unicorns, and rainbows. Whether these smiles are true or just something to help get paparazzi off their backs really remains unclear. Is it all a facade? Have they actually been going through it behind the scenes? For a couple who were supposedly in love with each other, it had suddenly become a staple to almost never see them at huge functions together, including red carpets or any other black tie events. However, there has been no news of an impending divorce, throwing everyone off their scent. But things started to come to a head when observers noticed a change in Pippa Middleton's demeanor. While some have attributed it to the stress of being a mother to 3 kids, others have crafted some serious inferences from her visible change. It isn't news that Pippa was the perfect glam queen, as she loved floral and youthful clothes that simply lit up whatever room was blessed with her presence that day. However, in recent interviews, she has consciously decided against this glamorous look and opted for something more remote and, to a point, lonely. Fashion eggheads have claimed that this switch-up comes from a place of pain, loneliness, and abandonment, drawing a visible parallel line between her and her husband. Speculations have continued to arise from royal watchers and insiders, claiming that the cause of this visible strain on her demeanor stems from her inability to get her husband to embrace public life as much as she wants. While their love for each other cannot be disputed, they were always mismatched socially, unlike Prince William, who was born to the ways of the press and how to navigate public opinion. James Matthews was far from it. He was born into a capitalist venture where mystery is more appreciated than having your face plastered over the news. The silence and distance between the couples grew longer and further, and more signs began to follow. For example, in 2019, Pippa Middleton was seen attending the British Heart Foundation's charity event, the Beating Hearts Ball. She had just had her baby 4 months before that event and had not been seen consistently outside her home. While her presence was quite refreshing, questions about her being there without her husband made the rounds more than the theme of the event. When she was quizzed about her husband's absence, a huge silence fell between her and the interviewer, and the cameras were faced directly at her. Suddenly, she looked uneasy and sweaty before breaking the silence with a slight grin that extended into a quick burst of laughter, followed by graceful silence and a witty attempt at humor suggesting that he had to watch the baby. While that created a bit of a fuss online, it wasn't long before the couple were seen outside again together, smiling and having fun at St. Bart's, where they first met each other. Maybe a reconciliation is in the cards, and rumors of the divorce were circulating. Although her marital issues remain unresolved, sly shots have been fired at her by Vogue Williams, Spencer Matthews' wife. Pippa just can't seem to catch a break, can she? The classic in-law beef. If there were anything unexpected about the Matthews, who have often presented a united front as seen in their 2015 attempt to raise a donation for their foundation through a swimming competition, it would probably be a divide among their wives. However, for some reason, Vogue Williams and Pippa have never been able to get along without some sly dig at each other or some looks flying across the room. Inside sources within the royal family have often described them as two completely different women who, having married two brothers, can now barely help but get along. While the silent beef had gone on for quite some time with empty stares and cake smiles being the most deployed weapons, Vogue Williams seems to have suddenly taken it up a notch with a more merry-go-round approach, attacking a rogue member of the royal family, Meghan Markle. It was almost too easy to come at Meghan, as she had already renounced her duty as a working royal and came at the crown quite often with some debilitating comments. Hence, she was a fish-in-a-barrel type of target, a cheap shot. Vogue came to her new series on Netflix with Love Meghan, criticizing her without pulling any punches. During a recent episode of her podcast My Therapist Ghosted Me, it is common knowledge that the Prince and Princess of Wales weren't on speaking terms with Meghan, which emboldened her even further as she took direct shots at her. This time, she went straight to cooking, referring to her creation of a rainbow platter as a show for the screen rather than preparing food for her hungry kids. It's something that I've loved for a long time. I'm very good at Jeopardy, and I love to cook. While she watched the show, Vogue claimed that she could see the idea even though she was doing well in the beginning, but then Meghan took it to a whole new level, mixing Rice Krispies and Cheerios, and that just wasn't really pleasant to her. She believed it was like having two cereals in one, making Meghan's rainbow platter tag unacceptable, at least for Vogue. While this was a direct dig at Meghan, royal insiders have claimed that it was more of a sly jab at Pippa Middleton, who has the actual connection to the British throne. She is the future Queen's sister, after all. It wasn't long before royal watchers made the connection. Still, Pippa, who has always advocated peace in her words and her actions, especially with her duties with foundations, decided not to reply, whether directly or subtly. Although it might seem up and down in her marital life, Pippa has become a beacon of hope in society, creating foundations with her husband's support and approval. Just how much support has this added to their relationship, and how easily has it quelled the divorce rumors? A united front. While speculations about Pippa's marriage seem to fail to go away, she has deepened further into a pool of the helpless and created foundations to set them right. However, it didn't all start with James Matthews. Pippa has always had a passion for setting things right and creating a world good enough for everyone to live in, and she has lived by that mandate since she was a child. Hence, as soon as the opportunity presented itself, she seized it in April 2013, when she was offered an ambassadorial role at the Mary Hare School for Deaf Children in Berkshire. While she saw children grow with hearing impairments, she thought to lend her support in ways that could also get the kids involved. So, in 2018, Pippa, who at the time was expecting her first child, teamed up with a leading sculptor, Sophie Ryder, with whom she created 50 exclusive limited edition bronze figures of a bunny-human hybrid to help the school raise funds to build new elementary facilities at the Mary Hare School for Deaf Children in Newbury, which isn't too far from the Middleton family home in Bucklebury. Having watched her show immense commitment to such programs, James Matthews invited her in September 2015, before their marriage 2 years later, to participate in a 47mm swim run competition in Sweden alongside her brother and her future husband, James Matthews, to raise money for the Michael Matthews Foundation, a charity founded in the honor of Matthews' brother who died descending from the peak of Everest. Her commitment to the cause left him flabbergasted and deepened the love and care he had for her right then and there. Hence, rumors of a divorce continue to be far-fetched as the couple continues to pose a united front, with speculations of a new foundation coming into play, sponsored by James and his wife. This shared compassion between the couple remains the thread that continues to sew their relationship together, no matter how many times it gets broken at the seams. While their lack of public appearance seems to rouse suspicions and create unnecessary speculations of a divorce around their very private marriage, rumors from close sources about a possible creation of a new foundation that tends to special needs kids have established that the couple's relationship hinges on more than public appearance but lies instead in a shared vision and common goal for the future of the new generation. Do you think there is a slim chance that the couple eventually gets a divorce, or is this just another media frenzy? Is there a chance that Pippa Middleton could be the one pushing for a potential divorce? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen, you will enjoy it.